Tommy Del Farvo. I still remember meeting Tommy, kid from Palmdale, coming in with his mustache coming through. I guess one of his friends came for treatment. He's like, hey, I got this guy that's looking for a job. And at that point, I was working for this gentleman, and Brandon was there, and I was kind of already looking for staff members because me and this gentleman's business was growing tenfold, and Tommy's one of the first people we brought in, and he became this corrective exercise kind of guy in that small space we have, very small space. It was in a men's locker room that we converted into an office. Right? Well, hopefully it was a girls' locker room the whole time. But anyhow, then we ended up breaking a wall down, and Tommy went into the back office, which I think was the shower room. Yeah. But anyhow, Tommy has him and I have worked together for about 7 years, and referring back and forth, not only in that room, but also as we've grown as individuals within the walls of Athlete's Choice. Tommy is now the manager of the entire gym facility. He also trains interns on his methodologies with corrective exercise, functional patterns. And one thing that I always have to say, like, Emp gets you out of pain, Tommy keeps you out of pain, and then Nick and his staff will help you perform out of pain. So it kind of works all within the same paradigm. So I've trusted Tommy with a lot of our patients. Donna is one of them here, so she's a triathlete. That's a triathlete, Ironman. Oh, way different. I'm so sorry.
That's the same thing.
No, but it's like Iron Man. Yeah. So anyhow, without further ado, Tommy's going to talk about what he does and how he implements his practices. And again, it goes on to our worldly kind of conference and what we're trying to do. Go ahead, Tommy. Thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. As Dr. Mike said, him and I have worked together for 6-7 years, and it's been really cool kind of feeding off each other, starting off with the percussion in a super small little area, working out how to be better at it. And every day, him and I are both always looking for better ways to improve our practices and get people better faster. So Dr. Mike came up with the advanced myofascial percussion, working on that, learning how to kind of use like ART type techniques along with the percussion, which has been very effective. And then my master's degree is in human movement and corrective exercise. So I work with like the nervous system. So I kind of want to go into that and show you how these worlds they come together that way. Hey, Kay, would you mind sliding over because your like head is like on the bottom of that camera? Sorry.
It's your biceps.
And maybe could you guys slide like a little bit?
Don't worry about you, Brandon. No.
Is that cool?
What are you trying to get?
Like me?
You're like about this big. You want to zoom in?
I think that's probably all right. Yeah, maybe go for it. Yeah, zoom it in. Get after. I'm just parting the sea. I'll let her figure that while I'm talking. Yeah. All right, so what I want to go over with you guys today is how to bring these worlds together. There's all kinds of information on how to get people out of pain, which is Dr. Mike's wheelhouse, which is his world. How to get inflammation out of the body, how to release muscles, how to make adjustments easier and smoother and longer lasting. And then here's how to perform, here's this exercise and that exercise. But a lot of times we're missing the center component of that, which is that transition, bridging the gap between the clinical setting and like the performance setting. And so that's where I kind of come in, and we're working on the keeping you out of pain. So Dr. Mike will get you out of pain, get you out of inflammation. Then you come see me to correct your movement patterns, get things so that you to stay out of pain. And then once you're done there, then you can go and perform without pain. So I want to talk about how functional movement can decrease injury incidence. So we're going to go over a couple of different things here. All right, so here's my background real briefly. I went to UC Irvine. I got my bachelor's in biology. I then went to a school, or I got my master's degree from a school out of Arizona called ATSU. AT Still University is what it's called. And that master's degree was in human movement and corrective exercise. And what's interesting is how much that's changed from, let's see here, that was 2005, probably 2007-ish I got that. Oh, this thing's moving quick. I don't know why it moved. That's all right. We'll get to that too. I just ruined the surprise for everybody. All right. So how much things have changed from 2007 to now. It's like completely different worlds. Initially, in our master's program, we were taught like, okay, if someone's moving like this when they squat, that means that these 3 muscles are tight, these 3 muscles are weak, so lengthen these and turn these on, then you're good. But really, in reality, that's not how things work. You need to be able to think way bigger than like looking at the body and trying to piece it together like inch by inch. A lot of physical therapy has these very narrow lenses that they look at. Oh, your shoulder hurts. All right, what connects to your shoulder? This muscle, that muscle. Okay, let's do an exercise for each one of those. And that's great. That may strengthen those muscles, but it doesn't change how your brain uses those things. So if your brain says, ouch, this hurts, it's not going to start turning something on because those little muscles are bigger. It still thinks, don't use this because it's still a hurt. So part of what I do is go through and convince your brain and remind it, hey, this thing's okay, it's healed, you can use it again. So learning how to kind of restabilize and get all that stuff to come on back together. That's a completely different way of what I was originally taught my master's, but like you guys, obviously, if you're here, you're constantly out there researching and learning and going to seminars, and like that's how you get better at this stuff. Just learning what you learn at school or at one place is not where it ends. Really, it never ends. You should always be learning, because if you're not, you're falling behind. And that's something that Dr. Mike has done an amazing job of, and other people that we work with, is that we're constantly like wanting more and more and more. So I've been an athlete my whole life in lots of different things. Swimming is my big time thing that I'm the best at probably. Everything else is fun, surfing, cross country, golf, all that good stuff. I want to throw this out there. I am getting hitched here, getting married here in less than like a month and a half or so. So I thought I'd throw that out there just so you get to know me a little more. Thanks for those 4 or 5 claps. All right, so let's get down to business. So when we look at athletes here, so Athletes Choice, our facility here, Dr. Mike and the AMP staff work alongside us. So we've created that chain: get out of pain, stay out of pain, perform without pain. So one way that I'm able to look at someone and figure out what things are working or not is I've been using the functional movement screen forever, for a really long time. This is a way for us to look and see where movement patterns have become dysfunctional, where things are not moving the way that they're supposed to. Now the FMS does a good job. It doesn't really like tell you what's wrong. It more just shows you where things have become dysfunctional. It helps you to categorize movements and see at what level do movements start breaking down. So you guys are familiar with the FMS, yeah? Some of us? So like the active straight leg raise is like big time, right? If I'm doing a leg raise and my other leg is wobbling around, that means my pelvis is unstable, my breathing's probably off. So little things like that will give you clues. One thing that I see a lot of training facilities do is they'll just hand out exercise to everybody to do, but they never look at like the whole body as a unit. They look at it as individual pieces. So if you don't take the time to screen someone and see how they're moving, you don't know like what they really need. Oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, cool. Use this exercise and that exercise. Well, have you thought about looking like how they breathe? Have you looked at if like those muscles are even turning on? So if you never do that, you're just handing things out and like hoping that something sticks, like throwing it against the wall. Come on, stick. Dang it. Try this. Nope, nope. And eventually you may find it. But this way, if you screen someone, you can immediately see how to help that person out the most effectively. And this can also be done in like group settings too. It's super similar to run people through an FMS type thing in a group, so you can kind of see how exactly everyone's moving, then put together programs from there. The reason I bring that up is because our facility's goal is youth athletic development through risk factor elimination. Meaning I want to take all these kids to come on out, I want to check out how they move, and then I want to fix that stuff. I want to make sure that they're squatting right, lunging right, can push, pull, jump, land, all that kind of stuff. The more functional our movements are, obviously the less likely we have of being injured. So again, Dr. Mike's getting people out of pain that are already injured. We need to figure out how to not let them get hurt again. And that's another where things drop off in like the physical therapy world and a lot of other rehab type places is, oh, I blew out my knee. Okay, well, once you can straighten your leg out to this far, oh, dude, you're clear. Go play soccer again. What happens to that person? You freaking hurt again, right? Because again, your brain learned, ouch, this hurts. I'm not going to turn this stuff on. So then you go out and play and then you re-injure yourself. So we get that all out of there by using different types of screening methods. So another program that I started using relatively recently actually is the Physimax. The Physimax is similar to the Incidence. Did you guys get to see that with Dr. Mike earlier? Anybody? It's like an Xbox Connect thing. I think they started up here. It's like this thing here, and it'll go through and film you. and it'll show you in real time how your movements will look. So if I perform a squat for an FMS and I'm sitting in here, I'm just doing one of them. Okay, great, that looks really good. But what happens when I try to move like fast, like I'm trying to go like full speed? How does the nervous system respond to that? Well, when I'm trying to move fast, it's like full load and lots of work for the nervous system to do. It's got to turn everything on fast. So that changes how we move. I could do a perfect squat like this, and then when I do a jump, my knee might like cave in or do something weird. So what this thing does allows it to capture immediately in real time what those things look like. So like, what's the number one like female injury that we see all the time? ACL injuries, right? And why does that stuff happen? What's that? Yeah, so like the angle that they're coming in and changing. So if their hips are unstable, if they got weak hamstrings, their glute med isn't turning on, their VMO is not turning on, their knee is just wobbling all over the place. So through this program here, we're able to look and see, look, it captures like each frame by frame. So like right before you jumped, you did this, and you wonder why your right knee hurts all the time. This program is also neat because it gives us an idea of how fatigue changes your movements as well. Everyone starts out with perfect form. Oh God, I'm so damn tired. Oh, and you start falling apart and your body starts turning off. So we're able to capture all that stuff there in a very easy way to look. Up here below there, the red, yellow, and green, this is like a great way for us to hand this over to somebody's parent or client and say, look, you did these tests, red, bad, green, good. So it's very easy to explain that to people. Which one, you want to be green everywhere, right? So instead of trying to get over talking and being too technical where people are like, dude, you lost me like an hour ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. How many degrees, this or that? Nobody cares about that. Did I do it good or not? So this gives it a very easy and accurate portrayal of how that looks. And you can also stack these tests up every month or a couple months after you've done some kind of rehab, corrective exercise set of things, and then retest them and it'll show like on here, you were here and now you're here. So just a good way of kind of putting that stuff all together. So when we think about dysfunctional movement patterns, we're thinking about any time that our body does something that's not correct, right? And when do these things happen? Well, fatigue, we already said that. But like if you're like trying to be a big man in the weight room, oh, I gotta get up like this many more pounds, and your body does all kinds of crazy things to pick things up, that's like, please let me get hurt is basically what you're asking for. Is someone doing that over here?
I'm like, yeah, every day.
If I can just get 20 more pounds on this calf raise.
Oh, he doesn't do squats, come on.
Oh, those are just calf raises. Just like this. Beach body, baby. There you go. So like, why do all these dysfunctional movement patterns happen? Anyone have like ideas or thoughts about that? Anyone have any ideas about that? Like, why do people move dysfunctionally? What are some reasons why?
Because we don't use our stabilizing muscles enough.
Yeah, we don't do freaking, yeah. What do we spend, let's say the average population, like 80% of our day doing? Sitting. Sitting's like the worst thing on the planet, right? You sit down, your shoulders roll forward. If you're sitting down, you're probably doing this, or you're driving a car, or you're on your computer. Changes how you breathe, and when your breathing gets affected, everything gets all screwed up. So over time, these things compile more and more and more. You get away with it for a long time. As we get older and you do things more and more, something happens and you get hurt, then you got to come see Dr. Mike to fix that. So our goal is to try to limit the likelihood of this happening to everybody. When you look at the body from top to bottom, it's been put together in a way where each joint has alternating functions. So we start off looking at the ankle first. So like ankle is your mobile joint, right? It does circles. Stable joint, back and forth. Hips, mobile, circle. So all these joints alternate in function for a specific reason. They each have different jobs that they need to do. But most of us look like this kid all day long. Ugh, computers are cool. I love video games. So like your shoulders are like this all day long. And then what happens to your T-spine? It gets locked up, right? So my T-spine is supposed to be mobile. It's supposed to be able to twist. But if I'm like, oh, that just hurt my back doing that. If you go like this and try to twist, you can't move. But if it's all stacked up and mobile, then it should rotate. So when you lose mobility in one place, it's going to take it from somewhere else. What's the number one complaint of like everybody on the planet? What does everybody complain about every day? What? Low back pain. Oh, my back hurts all the time. Well, why? Probably because you lost all your mobility in your T-spine, so now your body's trying to like make these weird movements through your lumbar spine. It's not designed for that. Think about ankles. Ankles are the number, like dorsiflexion testing. something that everyone should be doing all the time, because that's like a great way to figure out, is this person's knee going to blow out? If I'm running and I step and my ankle isn't mobile, it doesn't know how to balance itself, it's just locked up and I have no dorsiflexion, I'm going to step and body's going to say, oh crap, my ankle can't do anything. Who's next in line? Ooh, knee, go for it. And your knee is doing this. Your knee is supposed to move like this, right? So like if it's trying to take over trying to be a stable joint when it's designed it's trying to take over for a mobile joint when it's designed as a stable joint, ACL all day long. And that's why that happens. So you really got to pay attention to those things when you're going through and screening people. That's like a number one thing you always want to check, and make sure that those things are limited. And of course, this stuff increases your likelihood of injury across the board, as well as increases chronic pain. So when you think about how you move, you want to think about who's the boss. Like what really tells my body how to move or how to not move? I'll tell you this much, it's not Tony Danza, as you may think. It's actually your nervous system. So your nervous system is in charge of everything. So we've got our sympathetic and parasympathetic. This isn't news for you guys, but sympathetic is like fight or flight, right? Duress, like under tension, constantly like you're ready to either fight something or run away from it. Parasympathetic, oh man, turkey dinner was so good, I'm just gonna sit here and fall asleep and relax, right? Awesome, so these are our two ends of our spectrum, the way that our nervous system works. Where do we spend most of our time? What? Ideally, if I didn't have to work anymore, I'd be more in the parasympathetic, kind of resting, hanging out with my cats, relaxing. But our bodies tend to be in a position of either being on or less on. Sympathetic is like constant stress, constant duress on our body. Parasympathetic is like, I got no stress, everything's great. So what ends up happening is with our stressful jobs that we do, all the lights that are in front of our face, our phones, driving, noise, all those things, our body's constantly under tension. And when that happens, your body's response is, oh crap, we got to fight something or run away. So it's like in long time ago, we're ready to either fight a saber-toothed tiger or run away from it. So, but we have that like all day long now. So what's your body's response? Well, it changes your breathing, how you breathe. You start breathing up high here, and that's going to make everything all tight up here. And your body's like, oh crap, we got to hold on tight. So your hamstrings are getting nice and tight, your hip flexors are getting nice and tight. And people just walk around like this all day because their body's constantly under stress. So what ends up happening is as that breathing gets affected, everything you do all day long is bad. And then you go out and go try to perform and do sports or play, or oh, I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to go back to the gym, or I'm going to go run. And then you pull muscles and get hurt, and you say, well, this exercise is the reason I messed up. But actually, if we can get into our parasympathetic, you can finally let your body click off, and then everything can mellow out. If you guys have all come across people in your practices and what you're doing, whether you're a trainer, PT, doctor, whatever, you've probably come across people that are like super tight all the time, right? If you simply make them sit down and work on some different breathing drills, crocodile breathing, lay on your stomach, in through your nose and out through your mouth, get your parasympathetic to start clicking on, that tension in your muscles instantly will let go. And then you can actually make them move more functionally. Every time they're doing something, they're not going to get any better. Teach them as much as you want, but it's never going to change until you get their parasympathetic to click back on. So with what I do, I spend a ton of time on going through and fixing this on people, teaching them how to breathe properly again. Because I guarantee you, probably almost all of us in here suck at breathing to some certain degree. We breathe too high up, our diaphragm gets deactivated. You know what does your diaphragm rub against every time if it's like working properly, like around the lumbar spine? I'll tell you, your psoas. So if your psoas doesn't turn on, that's going to throw off everything else too. We're going to look at that next year. So looking at the lymphatic system is what's going to kind of tell your nervous system what to do or what not to do. Kind of hard to see. You can see in the picture. So you notice we've got like tons of lymph nodes that are all built up, right? So like along the inner groin, up by the neck, and also the axillary area through there. In addition to the chyli cisterna or cisterna chyli in the very center as well. So the lymphatic system is designed as doing what for us? Like basically it's our sewer system, right? So it's taking all of the cellular waste and pumping that stuff through. It's sending inflammation to joints to areas that need it, and it's supposed to cycle on through and move nicely. But think of this stuff as a sewer. So think of these all as pipes. What happens at your house when your kitchen sink gets backed up? Freaking sucks, right? All this like bad, gross stuff just sits there. It's like toxic waste. It sits there. So when these lymph nodes here get clogged up, Your brain, your nervous system says, dude, there's no way I'm going to turn that muscle on because it's going to squirt all this toxic waste crap everywhere and like irritate everything. E-brake, turn that thing off. Flip the switch, psoas off or glute off or whatever it is. It turns that thing off. Your body's like, sweet, now we'll figure out how to get around that. I'll use this and this and this and this to make myself walk instead of using the appropriate things. So if you can go through and figure out where these points are that are making your body turn those things off and clear those pipes out, bingo, the message gets there. So when these lymph nodes get clogged up or backed up, your brain tries to send a signal and it's almost there, hits a stop sign. Whoop, I guess that it's like under construction. I can't go there. So then it turns around and goes somewhere else and turns something else on. So by working with the lymphatic system, you can change people's movements immediately. Simply by using something called Chapman points. Anyone familiar with those at all? Nope. Don is. Kate is. So Chapman points are neurolymphatic points in your body. They're on different areas of your body, like on your bones. It's in soft tissue, where all these like nodes are here. By simply these things, the lymphatic system sits underneath a subcutaneous layer of skin, right? So just below the top layer of skin. So by some simple friction, like light and fast work, like on those areas, it'll warm those vessels up. So now my pipes just got bigger. So my pipes get a little bit bigger, great. Then I'm gonna take my fingers and dig in there a little bit and try to clear that junk out of there. And then instantly you'll retest somebody and be like, oh, this totally works now. Now the psoas are turning, now their glutes turning on, now their slings are turning on. So you can change someone's life and change their stability immediately. It doesn't need to be a 10-week exercise program to get this much better. It's come in the door, man, you're bad at that. Do this and this. Okay, cool, now you're better again. So we're trying to put all these things all together because I know if I have proper muscles turning on, like their psoas, for example, was a huge one, who's responsible for holding your lower back still, right? Comes from, what is it, L1, L3, L4? And then it comes through into that leg, right? And that's what picks your leg on up. So if that guy doesn't turn on, well, then your back is unstable. So my ability to produce strength or power is like dismal. My ability to pick my legs up for high knees, you have kids do this. Ugh. I'm picking my knees up, I'm trying. That muscle's not working. So you're like just cramping up your TFL and your quads trying to pick your legs up. So when you get these things turning on, you have a solid foundation that you can work off of and get people stronger in a safe way. So things that we do here, ways that we help with all of our kids. I've got kids that are like 6 years old and I can say, Chapman point time, guys. Where's your glute, Chapman point? Yeah, all right, good. Where's your diaphragm? Like they know all that stuff. They're 6 years old. So that's just giving their nervous system some information like turn this on, turn that on, turn this on, turn that on. And if I do that all the time, guess what? When they're older, that stuff's all firing great. But if I sit on my butt all day playing video games and not ever going outside, I'm gonna sit like this all day, that stuff's gonna suck, right? So if I can get people doing this all the time, it's gonna let their nervous system develop properly, their movement patterns are gonna improve, and they're gonna be a much better all-around athlete. And it's not even just about being an athlete, it's about longevity in life. Like your body needs to be able to move. Your calves are one of your primary pumps of your lymphatic system. So if you have patients or people that sit all day long, what happens to their legs? They get giant, right? Super swollen. So if you're just sitting around all day, that stuff isn't getting pumped around. The lymphatic system is just stuck. So you clear all those pipes, get people moving, all these things will fix themselves. So we're going through and we reset nervous systems every single day. Kids come in, we do some release stuff, arm drags, whatever, ankle mobility stuff. We'll go into turning some Chapman points on. We'll do some integrative exercise to get that newly turned on muscle to do some work. And then from there, we'll do something called the fall matrix, which is a way of creating locomotion around those new points. The fall matrix is basically, you can think of it like critical thinking for your brain. We ask them to take their hand and glue it to some point of their body, like right hand, left elbow. Lay on your back, get up. Lay on your stomach, get up, and each of your sides. So your body's like, oh crap, how do I get up? Who's available? Ooh, you're turned on. Psoas, glute, lat, whatever. And it grabs all those guys together, creates a movement pattern. Boom, your body just moves way better than it ever did before you walked in the door. So with our classes that we do here, we have a sports performance line where it's all about functional movement, how to squat, how to lunge, how to jump and land, push, pull, all that good stuff. Strength and conditioning, adding some load to that. I'm not going to hand load to someone that has a crappy squat or a crappy movement because that's going to make it worse. We work on speed agility, and we have a Ninja Warrior class where it's just like functional play, like let's crawl around the floor. I don't let anyone wear shoes during those classes because everyone's feet suck, right? we spent, ooh, you're a little baby. Let's put you in shoes. And your toes are just like this your whole life. And then you're like, why does my knees hurt? Why does this hurt? Why can't I turn my butt on? Because your toes don't do anything. So this helps like mobilize their toes, making them hang and climb and jump and all that kind of stuff. We used to call that going outside and playing. But now it's called training. So the Ninja Warrior class is a great way to get kids just to come and just play and like have fun like they're supposed to do on their own. Swinging from rings and climbing monkey bars and jumping off of stuff and learning how to somersault, walk on their hands, that kind of stuff. And it was crazy.
For any of you guys that want to see the Ninja Warrior class in action, it's actually really super cool.
Yeah.
So Tommy's real creative every week. Every week it's always a different sort of, just like an obstacle course. And it's literally like exactly like Tommy said. It reminds us like when we were kids, we just played outside. No one does that anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It's sad. It's depressing.
For any of you guys that ever want to see that in action, please come visit this place on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening.
Yeah, it's super cool. So, cool story about that. I worked with a girl today. She's been coming to the Ninja Warrior classes. It's the only thing she's ever done here. She's probably been coming for, I don't know, 6, 7 months, 8 months maybe. Never done any other sports other than swimming. And her dad's like, yeah, she wants to try some new stuff out. So that's kind of like get them in the door, have fun playing, and then they get comfortable, bless you. And they want to try other stuff. So she did a strength and conditioning class with me this morning. And I was like, holy crap, like you can do everything. Like normally get kids in there, they can't push up. Their body's like 10 different pieces and they try to do a push up or a squat and they fall over. This girl was able to like, we're doing like inchworms, like coming from here, like, okay, I want you to walk up and hold here for 5 seconds. I want you to come down and do a push up. This girl's like, 6 years old. No, she's probably like 7 or 8 years old. Push up, psh, psh. Perfect. I was like, dang, that's pretty good. All right, we're doing some squats with like a kettlebell. Bam. I was like, what? We're doing pull-ups on the pegboard. And she just sat there. She was like jumping up. And I was like, how's that? Is that easy? Yeah, it's really easy. All right, just don't use your legs. And she knocks out 10 pull-ups and like goes like slow coming down. I'm like, holy crap. So all she's done is play around out there, climbing and swinging on things, jumping and landing, learning how to balance. And she's smoked all this stuff. So it's amazing to see if you allow your body to move functionally and just let it play around and have fun, like your body figures it out. That's how it's designed. I don't have to micromanage and tell you what individual thing to turn on. Ooh, feel this, feel that. Let your body figure it out. So when you keep your lymphatic system clear and your nervous system functioning the way it's supposed to, all that stuff takes care of itself. Don't try to pick the body apart into a million pieces because you're never going to solve anything. You're just going to waste a lot of time on your end and you're not going to let that person get better. Our goal with this continuum that we have here is get people in, get them out of pain, keep them out of pain, and then let them go back and do what they want to do. Not for 6 months. Like come in, get fixed, and like go back to what you want to do quickly. So the quicker that we can get them out of pain and back to where they're supposed to be, the happier they are, and the more pull you're going to have with like the community. Like people know if I want to get better quick, they're going to come see us over here because we do a really, really good job of doing that. Last little thing here. So here's some, if you guys want to follow us over here on Instagram, if you want to follow Athlete's Choice, just Facebook, just Athlete's Choice. My name is Tommy Del Favero. You can look me up on there. I post things all the time in different types of stuff. Instagram, Tom DAC, and then Athlete's Choice, RSM is our name that we have for Instagram as well. So I want to thank you guys again, and I want you to, you don't need to give a round of applause for me, but I want to give a round of applause to you guys for taking time for wanting to be better. You could be a trainer, a doctor, a PT, whatever you are, and just like, dude, I went to school. I don't need to study anymore. I'm just going to do what I was taught then. Wrong answer. Those people are doing something wrong. The people that are constantly going to these seminars and learning and figuring out new ways of doing things, that's where you want to be. That's where you're going to make the most impact in your community and you're going to change people's lives. So don't just settle with what you've been told. Go seek out other things if something's not working. All right, so thank you guys very much again for your time. And thank you for all your guys' hard work. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Thank you guys very much.
Appreciate it. So for any of you guys,
Awesome, yeah.
Tommy, appreciate it. For any of you guys, definitely follow Athlete's Choice, follow Tommy's page at TomD_AC and Athlete's Choice RSM. They put up some good content. They're evolving, they're coming together as a team. That's a testament to Tommy's hard work and obviously Nick, who couldn't be here today. Just got probably a little jet lag, huh?
Yeah.
So with that, with Tommy finishing up, does anyone have any questions specifically for Tommy, especially from our sports performance kind of trainers in here?
Yeah. Shoot me whatever questions you guys have. Yes, sir.
As far as the techniques with the lymphatic system,
Uh-huh.
Do you guys do any sort of education on that? Or
Yeah, so
shops or anything like
yeah, so what's neat, so I've learned a ton of stuff. If you guys, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Perry Nicholston. He is like ultra smart, super cool dude. He's constantly puts new content out. If you keep up with him at Stop Chasing Pain, you can learn a lot of that stuff too. That's like where I've got a lot of that knowledge from. What I'm working on right now is putting together like a certification type thing where I can, so like Mike's got his, again, getting out of pain thing. I'm gonna teach people how to be like a good trainer, like how to do what you're supposed to do. Not half-ass your assessment. Oh, touch your toes, do a push-up. Okay, cool, you need these exercises. Like going through and teaching you how to initially assess someone, how to figure out what's working and what's not, and how to fix that. So we do internships here where you hang out with me and I go through and instruct you and teach you all this information. My goal every day is to give everything that I have to everybody. Just take it. Take it. All the information, I just take it. Please, please, please take it. Because if there's 1,000 of me, they're going to hit a lot more people than there are if there's just one of me. My goal is to help as many people as possible. So I'm just one person. I don't have any more hours of the day to help individuals. I need other people that understand this to move that out to wherever you guys are at and help more people that way. So if you're interested in internship and all that kind of stuff, just asking questions. I've got a bunch of cards up front. You guys can come by and grab it on the way out. But I'd love for you to reach out and let me know, and we'll set up times you can come out and learn all that stuff. Cool. Yes, sir. Oh, just waving thumbs up. Thanks, man. Anybody else have any questions? All right, cool. All right, well, let's turn it back over to Dr. Mike. Thank you guys again very much for your time today.